This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Hey everyone, I'm Ace of Clay. I'm a sculptor, and every week I make a new sculpture. Today I'm sculpting the HATTER from Alice Madness Returns. After posting my last video of the Cheshire Cat, I got so many comments asking for more, and I figured the HATTER would be a nice follow-up. Twisted by time and machinery, the HATTER in Alice Madness Returns is no longer just eccentric. He's a fragmented, steam-powered maniac. Part inventor, part tyrant. His obsession with order and clockwork turns Wonderland into an industrial, nightmarish wasteland. So we're gonna bring him to life today, just how he appears in the game. Before we get started, don't forget to check out aceofclay.com to see all of my sculpting products that I sell, like the Sculpt Like a Monster mat, the Super Poker, wooden sculpture bases, armature wire, and more, and hidden world merch like plushes and keychains. Now let's sculpt the HATTER.
Alright, let's get started. I've got my wooden plaque with the pre-drilled holes and some 10 gauge armature wire. I'm creating one side of this guy, mirroring it to create the other, and then wrapping all the pieces together with a third piece for the neck with some 16 gauge wire. Now we're just posing him a little bit, and we're going to start bulking out the torso with some ultralight. Alright, let's get him in the oven. And once that's cooled down, it's time to start covering it in clay. This is Living Doll, and I'm going to put a nice even sheet over that torso and start working on the legs. Once the legs are on, to make it look like he's wearing pants, we're going to add a bunch of folds and wrinkles with snakes of clay, and I'm going to blend the edges in with my spoon tool and Super Poker. I'm really going to focus on the areas where the fabric would be pulling. Now this guy looks like he has a leotard on over his black pants, so I just created the separation there, and now I'm going to add some more folds and wrinkles to create the look of pulling fabric again. And he's also covered in a bunch of belts, so I want to make the fabric look like it's pulling from the pressure of the belts that are going to be all over the place. So I just want to kind of map out where those are going to go and add the folds and wrinkles accordingly. Now using this flattened snake of clay, I'm creating a bulge in the fabric of his shirt that will be coming out from underneath the belts that I just mentioned. To create more wrinkles without adding more bulk to my sculpture with snakes of clay, I'm just using the rounded edge of my Super Poker to create indents like so. Before I add my belt piece that's going to come up the middle here, I just want to create an indent, and then add that flattened snake of clay. Now for some more belts all over the place. And bulging fabric. And I do sell the Super Poker on my website if you want to grab one for yourself. And I will be selling the spoon tool there soon. Now his neck is mechanical, so we're going to add a piece of clay and then shape it into a cube of sorts and then add some texture. And now for his turtleneck. Now let's finish off his chest with those last couple of belts. And he's got a little lock hanging from one here, so let's go ahead and add that now. And the tiny little strap that's holding the lock on. Now for a few buckles and some fine tuning. Now we're going to take a break from the body for a sec and work on his head. I covered a ball of aluminum foil in my clay, and now we're going to press on his giant nose that pretty much takes up his entire face. At this point, I just want to map out the lower facial features so that I know where to put my clay. Now let's get his first large nostril on. Because I don't want to just push the nostril clay in and move it somewhere else in his nose, I gouged it out. Now let's poke in the eye sockets and add the eyes. All the footage when I was sculpting this eye was blurry, so we're going to wait till we get to the other one after I add that cheekbone there. Alright, so after adding the eyeball, I start with the lower lid, and then the upper lid, and then that angry brow bone goes on top of that, while blending in each piece with my spoon tool. After the majority of my blending is done with the spoon tool, I'm going in with this cone shaper to refine things and then start adding a skin texture here and there. Now for his mouth. He's got two very large buck teeth, so I'm just carving them out with my spoon tool, smoothing them out here, and then using my explorer tool to create the space in between each tooth. Sorry, it's blurry, but that's how they look. Now let's get that lower lip on. And let's bring it all together with his chin. Using my rubber shaper, let's add some lines around the mouth. And with my tiny ball stylus, we're going to create some pores on his nose. Now for ear number 1, started with the basic ear shape. I'm pressing out the inside of the ear, blending it in with the rest of his face, and then working on all the details from there. Now for some more wrinkles. Now it's time to finally attach his head. There we go. Looks pretty good. Now I'm going to create a little lip around his neck where it meets that mechanical part of his neck. It's kind of like he's wearing a mask. And then for his shoes, I just shaped out the shape of the first one, and I'm creating the sole right now with my spoon tool and then adding these details and some buttons. And let's cap off his pant leg with a nice little fold there using a flattened snake of clay, add some texture with my super poker, and then we're going to repeat this process off camera for the other foot. Now I have to create the gear that's sticking out of his back. So with a flat sheet of clay and some round cookie cutters, I'm punching out the shape of the gear and then manually cutting in all of the notches with this blade. Couple more pieces and our gear will be done. Now let's slice it off our mat with this blade and get it in the oven to pre-bake it so we can just poke it into his back when it's done. And once it's baked, we're just going to trim it to fit his back and then attach it with some bacon bond and firm pressure without breaking it. And just like that, he's ready to bake.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break from our video to talk about our sponsor, Squarespace. I've been using Squarespace for over 6 years now, and it has been a game changer. It's helped me grow my online presence and streamline my work effortlessly. As a business owner, I need a website that functions seamlessly and looks great, and Squarespace delivers. One of my favorite features is their SEO tools. Squarespace makes it easy to get discovered with built-in meta descriptions and sitemaps, which helps my site rank higher without any extra effort. I also love Squarespace Payments. I really like it because I can process all of my payments through the same dashboard that I'm already using. It's super easy to set up, and I can accept payments instantly through multiple methods like Apple Pay and Klarna. No hassle, just smooth transactions. And if you're selling products or services like I am, their online store tools are top-notch. From inventory to fulfillment, everything is built in for a seamless experience. Ready to build your site? Go to squarespace.com, start a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to to squarespace.com/aceofclay to save 10% on your first purchase.
After brushing some Bacon Bond onto my wire, it's time to create the arms. Once the basic shape is figured out, it's time to add some folds and wrinkles just like we did for his pants. And let's use the Super Poker to create some more. Now for hand number 1, we're going to add the base of the hand first and then add the fingers individually. And he is wearing gloves that look like they're kind of too big for his hands, so we're going to make these just a little bit bigger than we normally would. And believe it or not, he's going to have 5 fingers. After finishing glove number 1, we just want to add a couple wrinkles here and there. I created his other hand using the same process, but I put it in a fist so that he can hold his scepter that I'm going to make in a sec. Now for the scepter, I started with some 16 gauge wire and I'm going to cover it with a snake of clay and then roll everything together so it's nice and smooth. After removing a little bit of clay from the tip, I brushed on some Bacon Bond and now I'm pressing on the base of the teapot that's going to cap it off. Add the lid, the handle, and the spout. And there we go. Let's go ahead and bake him one last time. And then after he's baked, it's time to create his giant top hat. So I'm covering this cylinder of aluminum foil with some more clay, and we're going to start shaping out all of the details, which basically just include a couple folds and wrinkles here and there. For the brim, let's freehand a circle. And I just want to get rid of that harsh edge by pinching the clay together like this. Make it nice and smooth. And we're going to add the crown of the hat with some Bacon Bond. I believe this is called the crown. Get it on there nice and firm, and then to make sure it fits his head, after I bake it, I'm just going to smash it onto his head like that to create a nice little indent. Now for some seams, and we're going to finish it off with this little ribbon and get it in the oven. And voila, there's his hat. Let's bake it and start painting. I'm going to follow this color scheme, starting with his white shirt that I'm painting gray, just so it's a little more muted and dirty looking. After the base color is on, I'm going to go in with a darker wash and dab off the excess with my paper towel. And then I'm going to dry brush some lighter gray. To tighten things up a bit, I'm going to take my watered down dark gray and go into some of those details with a fine brush. Now let's get those belts painted black. Alright, let's get those shoes done now. And the gloves. Now his hat's got this nice black and white checkerboard pattern, so I'm just going to start by painting the base of it white. And let's start those checkers. After finishing all the black on the hat, we gotta make sure we paint the gear black too, and his shoes. Now in some of the squares, he has different symbols, and while I tried to stay as true to the game as possible, every picture I referenced of him, the symbols were different. So this one right here, the red one, that one is true to the game, along with all of these that are gonna be up on the screen in a sec, but I did kind of freestyle some of them. Hope that's okay. Once the hat's looking pretty good, it's time to start painting his face. This nice shade of green. And we're going to follow our green base coat with a nice brown wash. To further darken different areas, I'm going in with my brush and some more of that wash. And of course, we've got to add some highlights. Now for his teeth. And the whites of his eyes. To tone down some of the whites and give it a sort of antique look, we're going to go in with some more brown wash. And we're going to do that to his shirt too. Now the fun part is all the metallics, so let's start with that lock, the belt buckle, the gear, and the top of his scepter. And I got a couple comments saying I forgot the blood on the teeth on the Cheshire Cat from my last video, so let's just add it now. Better late than never, right? And there we go. Now he's really done. Alright, after adding the scepter to his hand, we're going to touch up some areas that we screwed up when we were doing that. And we're going to super glue on his hat. The reason the hole is so big in my super glue is because I super glued the lid to it and had to cut it off. So we're just going to work with that gaping hole in my super glue until it runs out. And the hat is on. Let's see what they look like together and say it with me.
And he's done! My sculpture of the HATTER from Alice Madness Returns is complete. Let me know how you think I did in the comments. every character from this game, I'm pretty sure, and the HATTER is absolutely no exception. I love this design. I think American McGee is an absolute genius, and it's too bad they didn't do more with this game. I guess we need to blame EA for that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think again. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Ace of Clay, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.